Hey folks, this is Mick with Blitz TCG, and I wanted to start by just giving a huge congratulations to the Ergo team and Ergo community. I mean, holy crap, all this new development, all these new projects, Rosenbridge comes to top of mind of being probably one of the most impactful sort of new platforms to come to our blockchain for quite some time, and really potentially many other blockchains. So I get very excited over stuff like that. I think, eventually eventually people will stop asking me, why did you choose Ergo? And it will just become obvious as to why I chose Ergo as one of my primary blockchains of choice. That being said, let's go ahead and dig in. So where we left off was sort of what I would call, me showing the community that we are able to accomplish what we said we would accomplish. So what is that exactly? Might take a second to just reflect on that. Well, what I said we would accomplish is a trading card game that integrates with Ergo, where you can play online multiplayer effectively, right? And then over time, that scope expanded. We have some new ideas. We have some other blockchains, but at its core, it is a multiplayer, right? That's important. Multiplayer trading card game that integrates with various blockchains. So today, I'm going to show the last piece of that puzzle. So we've seen the integration with the blockchain. We've seen the deck builder. We've seen accounts. We've seen, even stuff that wasn't originally in scope, like messaging and friends lists and all that fun stuff. Today, we're going to take a first look at matchmaking itself. Now, before we get into this, as all good game devs should say before they show anything related to gameplay, starting on this screen, right here, that you're looking at, everything you see you can assume to be a mock-up. What that means is, none of this is likely to look what it looks like right now at the point of release. It'll probably look pretty close, but right now there are no animations. Most of even what you see in the skirmish menu are just placeholder UI. I actually have a whole new set of UI I have to code into here in the next couple weeks. And then when we get into a match, I mean, you're talking rough, like stretched images, like placeholder style content. And the reason why that's important to do is because, as I've said many times, the hard part of game design, in my opinion, is not those fine-tuned touches. Those things take a long time. But they're not necessarily hard. What is hard is getting the initial foundation solid. So that's what I want to show you a little bit of today, is where we are with that foundation. And the foundation's a little rocky, all right? So we're going to keep that in mind as we go, and we're all going to accept it for what it is, which is a very, very, very early view of matchmaking. Today in front of me, I have another laptop. You can see I'm also logged in on a different account. You can kind of see that by the fact that there's only one deck here and there's two decks sort of on the main screen there. So I'm logged into another account and I've selected a deck. I'm going to click play. We're sort of searching across a pretty simple set of criteria right now, basically first come, first serve when it comes to this, and I think it cancels out after a minute or two. So it just is meant to find you an opponent as quickly as possible. So when I queue up both of these groups to find a match, after a few seconds, they will be... All right, so in transparency, this is about my fourth time recording this because, as one might expect in pre-alpha games, stuff like this happens. Oftentimes it's just edited out, but there was an issue with my registry where there was a cached value that hadn't been updated since the last build, and it was causing me not to be able to find matches. So I had to go clear my registry and come back in, and now it's working. So I like adding those things into the video because it makes it feel more real, for me at least. This is the reality behind game design. It's not flawless, and I think the studios that pretend like it is flawless are actually doing a disservice because they're not really showing the reality of how these things work. So just before we get started here, this player is using Mios and this player is using Margot. That's going to come important in a second. This player is already searching for a match. I'm going to click play. finds a match nearly instantaneously. The matchmaking is super simple right now. You get a countdown pop up on the screen. You're able to bid at the start of the match to see who goes first. I'm going to bid 50 there, and I'm only going to bid 30 here. And when I submit that, eventually, once this countdown is over, this is going to update, and it's going to tell you who won the bid. In this case, it should be me on the main screen who wins the bid. And it was. Low Key Nerd moves first. That's great. So before the window even updates, I can start recruiting cards. You can see my gold going down. My gold's going down because each of these have an associated gold value that they're worth. I have 20 seconds to move. I'm going to go ahead and drag and drop some cards onto the screen for demonstration purposes here. And then I'm going to end my turn with, I don't know, 2 seconds left. Now it's this player's turn. So with this player, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to recruit a few cards here. Hopefully this laptop doesn't die in the meantime. And I'm going to drag and drop a few cards onto the field before my turn is over. And then I'm going to end my turn 1 second early. You have 20 seconds a turn right now. Now it's back to my turn. Maybe I recruit a few more cards. Like all these are just static test holder place values right now, nothing fancy. If I want to attack this bird, I could attack that bird, I could attack this bird. You notice I attacked this bird, I died, and that's because this bird had more health than I had health, and its attack was higher than my health. So it's pretty standard like TCG interaction. I don't think it's really worth me going into too much detail there. But one thing I do want to show, it might be a little challenging to do that. I'll figure it out here in a second. But maybe just take my word for it. So right now on my laptop, I'm going to recruit a few cards here. And I'm going to end this player's turn, go back to this player. I'm actually putting cards behind the wall. Putting cards behind the wall here. And if you notice, the player can't see them. But if I put it in front of the wall, the player can see them. And that's because one of Blitz's, I would say, cooler gameplay mechanics is the idea of a front line and a back line. And that's what this is a front line, back line sort of interaction here. Honestly, I was thinking of like how much I want to get into all this. It's all very placeholder, cookie cutter. No fancy interactions, and this laptop just died. So I guess this is a good example of what we're trying to code for when people disconnect inappropriately. So it says Hockey Nerd was left the game. It should say left the game. Press continue to go to the skirmish screen, and then you click continue. It brings you back to the main menu. That being said, I highly encourage all of you to go play around with this in the Discord. There'll be a Windows build in there for now, and you can attempt to play other players in this very simple manner just to get a feel for how things are working, right? It's not like you're going to be earning experience or activating any cool skills. You probably, as you saw, the UI was a little stretched and a little shaky in most places, and that's expected, right? That's where we're at right now with matchmaking. What I want you to take away from this, though, let's think about the goal here. Let's reflect back to our goal. Matchmaking's working, right? Matchmaking's working, and matchmaking's working while blockchain integration is working to build your decks, which are associated with your online account. So at this point in development, Blitz has proven that we can have a successful release. I didn't say that the game would be great, because that's not what this means. It's hard to say if the game will be good. But what this does mean is that we've cleared all the major barriers to release an online multiplayer video game. Thank you for your time, and I hope you all have a wonderful week. Take it easy. Bye-bye.